Good morning, Manchester United fans. Happy Sunday. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to your morning update show. Everything going on around Manchester United. We're waiting. We're still waiting. We want some big news. We could do with it this weekend ahead of pre-season, which starts tomorrow. Ruben Amorim apparently not happy with and frustrated with the lack of activity, according to one journalist this morning we'll talk about. To be honest, if I was being rumoured to be linked with Calvet-Lewin, I would be frustrated as well. Definitely going from a Gyökeres to a Calvet-Lewin scenario would give me shivers down my spine. We're going to talk about them links to Calvet-Lewin this morning as well. And Nkunku also, another option for Jadon Sancho if the reported, which is nearly done deal for Jadon Sancho, breaks down. Victor Gyökeres going on strike and what this means. Are United going to hang out for Victor Gyökeres? If indeed Arsenal, which we're going to talk about on Football Talks right after this show as well, so stay tuned for that later, everybody, as well. If Arsenal do choose Sesko, interesting on that side of things as well. We have got updates on the goalkeeping side of things as well from Manchester United overnight, and all of your thoughts in the live chats as well. As always, happy Sunday morning. We love a good Sunday morning show. We're hoping that we get a lot of news from the Sunday papers and we get more and more speculation to get our sort of claws into and read through in hope that Manchester United are about to move. A big story on Bryan Mbeumo from the Brentford side of thing this morning coming out as well, which we'll just start with quickly before we go into the Calvert-Lewin story. But Bryan Mbeumo now frustrated himself, apparently according to newspapers over there in London, that this move hasn't happened yet. I think everybody's at the same place right now. I think it's got me there in terms of the frustration that we haven't got this deal done yet and just wanting Ruben to be given the best opportunity. But now Bryan Mbeumo on top of that as well. Apparently he has told Brentford that he does not want to go back to training tomorrow. Now, I reported last night that Brentford are anticipating the arrival of Bryan Mbeumo tomorrow as usual, as scheduled, because this transfer is not complete. And obviously then you would start to think, right, okay, I'm going back for Brett. This happens and players do go back to training. Don't get me wrong. This is normal procedure in any Premier League football or any European or world football club, to be honest. That deals can be done throughout. But I think this one, just with the fact that it's been going on for 5 weeks now, over a month, and we still haven't got it done. From him saying, I want United, and this deal not over the line after 5 weeks, I think he probably was thinking like most of us, 5 weeks was enough to get Mbeumo over the line, and why has it not happened? I'm a little bit peed off. I don't want to be going back to Brentford. I want to be going to Man United. I've said that I want to play for United. It's my dream move. 5 weeks later, we've not managed to get the deal done, and he's probably frustrated himself now as well. Everything leads into, like we've already spoken about, that this deal will be done, but it's that initial, do I have to? Do I have to go back there? Can we not just give some sort of inkling today or make something happen today where there's enough on the line to basically say, I don't have to go to Brentford and pre-season training. I can make my sort of arrangements and head over to Manchester instead. Surely something has got to come about today from the Bryan Mbeumo situation, particularly with the pre-season training starting tomorrow for both Brentford and Manchester United. Like most Premier League clubs are all starting tomorrow. It just feels like it's a little bit of a dampener on what was supposedly an exciting start to a new part of his career. And for us as well as fans and Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, like we said, he's not happy. And hopefully we do get some news on this today. But Mbeumo's not happy himself. He apparently has said he doesn't want to go back to Brentford to train. Personally, this is a story that I'm just talking about right now. Bryan Mbeumo takes me as a professional. I can't see that being the case personally, but I think inside he's probably frustrated. That's what I would say on this one. I think Bryan Mbeumo will turn back up for training at Brentford. It's not like a Victor Gyökeres situation, which we're going to be talking about later, where he's going on strike trying to force a move away from his club. I don't think Bryan Mbeumo's that type of character. Like their director of football said to Sky, the relationship with Bryan Mbeumo is great. They have had dialect constantly throughout the process of him saying that he wants to move to Manchester United. Fully updating him on every situation that's going on, and I don't see it. But I think, like we said inside, if Bryan Mbeumo has said to Manchester United he wants to go 5 weeks ago, you'd have thought, yeah, come on, let's get it done. But Anyway, we will see what happens today with Bryan Mbeumo, and obviously we're all hoping and praying that we can actually move forward and get close to getting this deal over the bleeding line, because we need something right now. It's been a long wait since that first Matheus Cunha one, and as good as we have done so far in June, that was for me with both of them over the line and in place, and I have always stood by what I said. If it gets into pre-season and he's not signed, I'll start to get a bit frustrated myself, and it is creeping in now. It will creep in even more frustration if we're linked with absolute duck-egg donkeys like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Nothing against the kid. I'm not going to bring up his fashion sense or anything like that from the past, which everybody knows about. It seemed to be at one time in his career when he was hitting his so-called heights at Everton. All that mattered to him was what was going off the pitch, modelling, things like this. Honestly, like, you only have to look at his record. And for somebody to actually be linked to Manchester United, who wants substantial wages, by the way, who is worse than Rasmus Højlund, that would really get you back up as a Man United fan, wouldn't it? It would give you them horrible Ed Woodward sort of vibes and Arnold and Murto vibes. This is not an Ineos move. Like, we can go in on Ineos all you want and everything that they've done so far, but transfer-wise, they've not messed around usually with transfers. They've got good players in, the ones that we have brought in, and we haven't brought in any... Oh, God. Let's just say any Rasmus Højlund type of transfers where it's complete unproven. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has played in the Premier League, yes. He's young, yes. He's cheap, yes. That's about it. That's as far as it goes. But what's the point in having a player in who is worse than what you've already got? And so it doesn't fit. And the stories are being driven by the papers this morning. There was a story going around last night. I've seen the MEN. They've reported it. The Sun have reported it. A couple of journalists that not well known have reported it as well. And that's where it is. And do you know what this is? I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to end up at Manchester United. I would be absolutely horrified if that situation came about where that man is walking into Manchester United and signing a contract. I'm sorry. It is a no-go for me, definitely. And United would be embarrassing themselves if they went for this deal. I can't see it happening. I don't think it's an Ineos sign. I don't think it's a Ruben Amorim signing. I don't think he fits in. I don't think he's good enough anyway, and I don't think United are going to go there. But all of these stories are circulating simply because Manchester United have not got business done so far and expecting Bryan Mbeumo over the line. That's why these stories are coming. See, I'm still comfortable with the transfer window, as everybody knows. I'll wait it out until the end of the window and then make my judgments. But these sorts of stories all come about because United haven't got the Bryan Mbeumo story done. And it's the Man United factor. Everything that's happening right now in the newspapers, online, everything that's being reported is because Manchester United have taken 5 weeks to get Bryan Mbeumo done. And we're still counting at the moment. That's why these stories are circulated. It's not like Manchester United. I think United would have made a big, long list of strikers. They'd have gone through all of the free agents. They'd have gone through all of the cheap players that are wanting away from current clubs. They'll look at all of the top targets. They'll look at potential swaps. They'd have done all of that work. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin would be on that list simply because he's a free agent. That's about it. If United actually make this move happen, the fan base would be an absolute uproar. The respect to the football club would be down the gutter. And Manchester United would be the laughingstock of the Premier League. This would be the biggest joke transfer in Premier League history if Calvert-Lewin turned up to Manchester United. I sound like I'm going in really hard on him here, don't I? But this is where Manchester United's fan base is, and this is where we feel. If someone like me feels like this about this potential transfer happening, then God knows what all the real negative fans out there that are going on about what's happening right now are feeling about this. And you can imagine, can't you? This is a no-go for Manchester United. They cannot even think about this. I understand when breaking down the analytics, when you're breaking down the tactical side of things and everything that Manchester United are now looking into, the analysts and sports analysts and everything like that we've been miles behind. You would look at this deal potentially financially, or what Calvert-Lewin brings in terms of experience, in terms of strong, tall, fitting the profile of Ruben Amorim. If you're putting him into a computer and you're playing FIFA, he probably doesn't look like a bad player. But if you're in a reality world where you know what this guy is and what his temperament is and how often he's available and how good he is in front of goal. I mean, for instance, because like the last 3 seasons, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has scored less goals than Rasmus Højlund's last 2. No, in fact, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has scored less in the last 3 seasons for Everton than Rasmus Højlund has last season on his own. That tells you exactly how poor Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. And nobody in the top half of the table will be going near this man. If United do it, I will be disgusted in my football club if we went for this transfer. Don't even think about it. And that's why this is a joke. It has to be a joke. And this is, again, it's annoying because all of that I've talked about there, I don't even think is going to come into play here. All of that about Dominic Calvert-Lewin is because what I just said a moment ago is United haven't made that signing of Bryan Mbeumo yet, and we haven't got a striker. As long as United are still fighting it out for Mbeumo and haven't got a striker, the media will drive this forward to get reactions like this from fans. And I think it's just a reminder for us all that, and a reminder for myself as well, where things are going well, I feel, and we have got a different structure and we've got a different plan. We've stood up to the old guard and status quo of player power and all of that's going on around the culture of Manchester United. We still have just Cunha in. I know we're close to Bryan Mbeumo, and that is good. But just a little reminder about the old ways of Manchester United, which we need to actually try and get out. Like, for instance, the papers would never run a story like this for anyone else in the top six. Not one club. But United are a bit of a laughing stock at the moment, and we're easy to have a go at. We need to get things moving and start changing the way that Manchester United are, to change the perspective of how the media look at Manchester United, because we're an easy target to sell papers, to get clicks, for column pages, for column inches and everything. That's what Manchester United are. And that, I think, is, and this deal here and this potential talk about Calvert-Lewin is exactly where we used to be and what we have become. And we're trying to change that. And I think this is a significant story today, just to say to every single Man United fan out there that this is what we used to be. Look where we've come from. This is a transfer that United would actually probably be looking at back in the day, over the last 10 years. And it's embarrassing to think like that. And it's just reared its head again a little bit, only because United haven't got business done yet with Bryan Mbeumo. And everybody knows we need a striker. Let's get your thoughts on this, everybody, coming into the chat. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin, sorry, not Calvin. Calvert-Lewin. Come on, hit me up. Here we go. Our side isn't leaking anything. This has come from his agent to generate interest. Do you know what, on that there, I didn't pick up the agent side of things, Roz. Great super chat there from him. And saying this, like, look, United. There you go. Let's get in with United and bump up some interest. Let's use United as the whipping boy again. All because of the way that Manchester United have operated the last 10 years. This is exactly what we used to be. And we need to get on with business, I think, now and get things done, get players out now. Now we're into July. We're nearly a week into July. It's the 6th of July today. So almost a week in now. It's time. We need to start moving things forward, and we need to sort of dispel this look of Manchester United that we are the easy target for things like this and agents. I like the way we've stood our ground with the players. I like the way that we're negotiating deals, like with Bryan Mbeumo, making sure that we're not absolutely rinsed. It's not going to happen. And I'm all good with that. I would have just expected Mbeumo to be done now and United be settled in going into pre-season with the top two targets done. Look, it could happen in the next 2 days and this not even matter, this conversation, but agents are going to take advantage of Manchester United. Why are we too slow on signing players? One player taking a month. What's going on? Again, like I just explained on that one, I think. A boxer says that we need more creativity and range in our passes from midfield. Neither Bruno nor Casemiro provide this. Bruno does, I think, there, boxer. I think you're giving a bit of a discredit on that one there, mate. Bruno is creative. He's the only creative player we've actually got when it comes to playing that risky pass or thinking outside of the box. I got the new 25-26 Man United home shirt from OK Jerseys. Thank you. Can't fault it, says Maddie. Love that. Anybody who's looking for a new shirt, like I'm wearing my Boca shirt today, all from OK Jerseys. I found this website, just sharing it with you all. Go check it out. The link is there. The mods will pop it up in the live chat for you as well. If you want any shirt from around the world, they've got it. Thank you again, anybody who has actually jumped onto that. Hopefully you're all enjoying it as well. Let's see. The striker who doesn't score goals and is injury prone. Perfect fit for us. Gary, do you know what, mate? That, again, would be exactly how Manchester United fans would be looking at this potential deal. That's what I feel Manchester United would be in the past. And it's great that you say it that way there in the chat, mate, because that's exactly what would have happened before. And that's the point I'm trying to make in this. Every single Manchester United fan has got that horrible feeling in the back of their head that they're going to do something stupid this transfer window. And that's it right there. That is exactly it. Let's see what we've got here now. Akash just renewed his membership. Thank you very much. Very worried with Rios links haven't accelerated, especially considering how good he's been in the Club World Cup. I'd get Rios as the alternative to Edison. We did speak about that yesterday. Just give it a chance. They have only just finished Palmeiras, and obviously Rios will be going now on holiday, having his own pre-season. So I think that's one that could develop over the space of the window, to be honest, Akash. I'm not concerned about the length of time that it's taking, and maybe United, if they were really interested in him, could have moved forward. Maybe they needed to see him play against some tougher opposition like in the Club World Cup to make that decision. Maybe they've already spoken to Palmeiras. We don't know. Apparently Manchester United have been working on this transfer behind the scenes, and Wilcox and Vivel are keen admirers of Rios. So really, when you say we're worried that we haven't signed it yet, I think they just wanted to see a bit more, and I'm okay with that. If we're going to spend a decent amount of money, which is 20 odd million, every penny counts this summer, we have to be 100% certain on the player. And this is one player that we are looking at here that has had good links to United this summer that isn't Prem proven, so make sure that it's right. I think that's key for Manchester United also. He was excellent against Chelsea. Yes, he was, Akash. He really was, mate. Good assist and did control the game, I thought, in that one. Again, I think after that now, it's definitely turned into a top target for United. People only think Bruno is a good passer because of goals and assists, chance creation and assist. He's a poor passer of the ball and is inconsistent. Completely disagree with that one, but you knew I was going to disagree with that one anyway, Insane Gamer, because I know that Bruno is that player that never, ever shrinks or cowards away from the way that he plays. He's one player that has actually kept up his standards and being willing to take a risk with the ball. When you're willing to risk passes and be that player, you're always going to look like you give the ball away a lot, and people don't pick up on that. Think of the chances that he has created that people haven't actually put away, and how key that is in Bruno's stats as well. I understand what you're saying. Look, everyone's got their opinions of players, and yours is not wrong. I do get it. Bruno is frustrating. Give me 10 of him on the pitch all day long. Not a problem with that at all. I'd love that mentality of player in our side. And I think more of him will definitely help Manchester United going forward. Guaranteed. Let's see what we've got here. Brentford don't work at the weekend. Well, they're going to have to be honest. I think they will be working this weekend, no. I think that's something definitely that is happening with this deal at the moment. United needs a sports psychologist to help players. We did have one apparently that was paid £175,000 a week. £175,000 a year, sorry. So, yeah, well, we have looked at that side of things as well. Moving on. Okay. We talked about Mbeumo there and his push to get this deal over the line. Doesn't want to go back to Brentford training. Totally understandable. Manchester United linked with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And again, yeah, I've just said my piece on that. Don't embarrass yourselves, Manchester United. I can't see it happening. I think it's been media spun because Manchester United have not got certain deals done already this window. That's where we're at with, I think, this story and why it's come about. Christopher Nkunku is a story that has been doing the rounds, and I've let this one simmer to see where it actually sits from yesterday, actually, with Nkunku, because I was waiting to see if there was any more stories. Manchester United have been told that Christopher Nkunku is 35 million this summer. And I do think there's actually a player in Christopher Nkunku. I think he's a good player. I think his injury completely derailed him at the start of his Chelsea career, and he's not recovered at Chelsea with the way that Chelsea turn players around, i.e. players in, players out every single season. If, for instance, he was at Manchester United, he likens me in a time when Louis Saha came through at Manchester United. I think he's got absolute raw qualities in Nkunku. A very good player. And look, last season was better for him. He got more games. Obviously, 46 appearances for Chelsea tells me that he's over his injury concerns and is ready to move on. He's coming into 27, so it's a player in his prime who is Prem proven. And there is a real link with Manchester United for Nkunku. In fact, I think a few major journalists have been talking about United being linked to him. He's far down the pecking order in terms of what they really want, but he's definitely someone United would go to. And again, the fact that nobody is in yet and Chelsea have put this price tag on him, leaves him around for Manchester United to potentially pick up later on in the transfer window, I think, because I don't think Manchester United have him right on the top of their wanted list at the moment. I think he's, like we said, he's third or fourth choice down there. He's not near Calvert-Lewin, though. I mean, good. Him himself scored more goals last season, again, than what Calvert-Lewin has in the last 3 seasons. So, yeah, Nkunku is a different level of player altogether to Calvert-Lewin. I don't mind Nkunku. At the right price, I think United could get him quite cheap towards the back end of the window. It depends on his wages, obviously, and things like that. But a player like that, along with another striker for me, would be a good move for Manchester United, I think. But we have to see what else comes in first. If you, for instance, they want 35 million, Chelsea, for Nkunku. If you could negotiate a 25 to 30 max, 28 million for Nkunku, get him out the door at Chelsea, I think, like I said, like going into the latter stages of this window, you might be able to scrape out a bit of a better deal for him. I think that would work for Manchester United. I think we've got a good chance of making that happen anyway. So, yeah, I reckon 25 million. I think that's fair value for Nkunku, to be honest, at 27. Goals he's scoring, appearances he's making, miles better option than what Calvert-Lewin is. I'd rather spend 25 million on Nkunku than nothing on Calvert-Lewin, is what I'm saying here. This, I think, is probably a sensible move for United, but only as a second option. I wouldn't want to be going into the season with Nkunku or I'm forgetting Calvert-Lewin. Stop talking about him, Adam. Nkunku is not my number one striker, and I don't think he has got the capabilities of being Manchester United's number one striker. And so I would say if somebody else comes in and United have done well in the window, maybe as another option. Don't know. I mean, I'd be going to Chelsea and saying, all right, here we go. How about a loan for Nkunku? We'll take him off your books for a season and we'll go with that. How does that sound? I think that's very clever business. They don't want him there. They want his wages off the books. I would take Nkunku on loan for a season. Then go out and buy a striker. I think that's sensible business from Manchester United. Makes complete sense to me. Brits Abroad with a super chat. Thank you, my man. Oh my God, I wake up to the Dominic Calvert-Lewin news. It's enough to make me percent plate go mouldy. Well, at least United would be going there a bit of equal opportunities by employing a cripple. Oh God, I get it. That nobody wants him. I don't want him. Neil says no to Nkunku. Also, look, it's not the most, let's just say, optimistic show that we're doing this morning with the names that we're bringing out here. But it's like I just said there, would anyone in the live chat, and do comment below as well, would anybody take Nkunku on loan next season? Do you know what? Back Chelsea into a corner. Do what Chelsea did with Jadon Sancho. Let's get our own back. Take him on loan. Take him off Chelsea's books because no one's going to buy him for 35 million. We know that for certain. So, yeah, United won't buy him for 35 million. But I tell you what, a loan would be a good move for United on this one. Take him on loan or not? Talk to me in the chat, everybody, as well. Nkunku and Calvert-Lewin are not Manchester United players. Full stop. Our standards have dropped way too low already. Darren, would you not take Nkunku on loan as another option while we're trying to build back up again? He's better than Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund is not Manchester United standards, so we need to gradually move up and build this squad bit by bit, I think. It's not what I want. I just think the reality has taken us that way a little bit, and that's where we're at with it, and that's why we're talking about it. So, not the ideal signing for Manchester United by any stretch of the imagination, no. But can we be clever with this deal? I think we can be clever. I think we can actually move forward with this and actually get this deal having at the latter stage of the window, if we haven't managed to get the deals that we want done. I don't. Moving on anyway, let's get into the other stories and what's happening. The Victor Gyökeres situation, just to keep you up to date, because he's still linked with Manchester United, and obviously until Arsenal make a decision, he's going to be linked and talked about with United. Whether or not he goes, I actually do think if Arsenal do go with Sesko, everything will just push towards Manchester United again. And Again, I said it last night, I don't see a world in where United spend 70 million, because that apparently from the news last night is what Sporting want for Victor Gyökeres. That's what they're willing to let Gyökeres go for. So Sporting fear Victor Gyökeres will go on strike this week to force Arsenal transfer after gentleman's agreement broken. Portuguese sources have told Sunsport that Gyökeres has netted 54 goals in 52 games last term, is increasingly unlikely to not turn up this week, actually. In fact, it is actually back to training this week for them as well. But again, like the Benjamin Sesko situation, this is the weirdest transfer saga ever. I'll be talking about this on Football Talks right after this show as well, so do stick around. You will be diverted across to the show as well. But this is a really interesting one in terms of how this is going to break down. Like, I cannot make my mind up now what's happening with Arsenal and where Victor Gyökeres and the Benjamin Sesko situation is going to take this window, because there is a lot riding on what Arsenal are doing right now in this window, because these two strikers, like Ben Jacobs said, Manchester United, with the contacts of Christopher Vivel, could all of a sudden, if they go for Gyökeres, go in and get Benjamin Sesko. Now, I'm telling you this for nothing. Manchester United would prefer to buy Benjamin Sesko. I got the name wrong then. Man United would prefer to buy Benjamin Sesko over Victor Gyökeres. Ruben Amorim wants Gyökeres over Sesko. But if they go and get Gyökeres now, don't be surprised. And I remember listening to this and I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking here as well. United just biding their time in this window. If Gyökeres goes to Arsenal, and apparently he's had face-to-face talks with Arteta now and has agreed personal terms. We're hearing this about Sesko as well. United would go for Benjamin Sesko. He is a realistic target for Manchester United, and they are just waiting it out. I said this before. This just gives Manchester United the whole saga that Arsenal are going through and what Gyökeres is creating here. And like the news this morning in the papers, talking about him going on strike, Sporting fearing the strike, and this just escalating to a new level. He's always going to be linked to United, but it looks like he's really pushing the Arsenal move now. And if Benjamin Sesko is available, United, I think, would go for Benjamin Sesko. I think Arsenal have negotiated down a deal to a point where it's in and around 60 million. I remember, I think I've seen something here on the Swedish Rumble, and he was talking about how Manchester United, and he doesn't like the way that United are operating financially, and he was saying, why not do what Chelsea do? Because Chelsea have just come in and are ready to hijack Mohamed Kudus from Tottenham. Do what Chelsea do. Let another football club do all the negotiating, find out what the price is, and then go in and make something happen. Why don't we copy them? I'm looking at this here, and the more I look at it and I think about it, could Manchester United be in the perfect position here in not going for a striker early and then just seeing what happens from it? Some people will say, no, we're Manchester United. We've got to go. We've got to go for our targets. We've got to get our players. We can't think like this. We're not in a position to do that right now. When I say be creative, when I say be clever in a transfer window, it means everything. It means your approach. It means the pricing. It means loans. It means swaps. It means structure of transfer fees. Everything. Even this now, Gyökeres and Sesko. I mean, let's look. I'm pretty certain. I just need to double check. Because I've been doing so much checking on the leagues. Let me just check this out quickly. I just needed to check the actual table from last year. Yeah, I was right. I was actually right, because I was thinking Benjamin Sesko has got no European football this season. That RB Leipzig finished 7th in the Bundesliga, so are out of the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. They are not featuring in Europe next season. That, for them, isn't that good. This is going to be a selling season for RB Leipzig, and they do get good prices. But with Christopher Vivel, just watch the Benjamin Sesko situation. Just what I'm keeping my eye on at the moment. The more that Gyökeres gets pushed across to Arsenal, I think Benjamin Sesko and that link and Vivel's connection with Leipzig and the Red Bull Group, I think this could actually materialise into a potential move for Benjamin Sesko down the line. I do think that is a distinct possibility. Now, obviously, his price started out quite high. It was around the 80 million mark, in fact. And obviously, we know that United are not going to go there. We know that we've contacted Ekatike, find out from Frankfurt what that deal was. But don't forget what actually happens here is Manchester United will structure a deal, and United are always looking for younger players. And United's board will go for a younger player, I think, more than an older player. I think they like to see the potential as well as the goals. Now, he has had a good season, Benjamin Sesko, still. I think Manchester United might go for that. I'm going to get your thoughts on this one as well. And I do believe that that this could actually turn into a real potential move for Manchester United. And I just think that United now are just sitting back and waiting this out. It could be the right tactic for United. Get Bryan Mbeumo over the line. Then let's get the midfield situation sorted. Like we've talked about, Rios, we talked about Paulinho, Luiz, all of these options for United that are available in midfield. And let's just let this striker situation play itself out through the rest of the summer. I think it makes sense for Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? If you're going into the season, and say for instance United came about, and this is all just if and buts, but say for instance you go into the season with a Nkunku and a Benjamin Sesko, then it's not that bad. Like, people would say Benjamin Sesko is unproven. This is a kid, I think, who's got his head screwed on because he could have moved last summer from Leipzig. And he decided to stay. He wanted to develop another season. He wasn't impressed, and I don't think he was that good in the Euros. I thought it was crap, to be honest. So I think that was like a reality check for him. But it's that type of character, I think, that Manchester United might be looking for. And look, you can shoot it down. I'm totally fine with it. I've got no problem with you actually thinking that that's not the right move for Manchester United to go down. But I'm trying to think like how Man United would be approaching this. And I don't think he's a striker that Manchester United would be thinking is completely out of their reach at all in this one. So, no, them not being in Europe, I think, gives us a chance to maybe go in and get a decent deal out of it. We'll see, won't we? Let's get some comments in on this. Arsenal situation is clear. Berta is not willing to pay any more than 70 million euros with both players wanting Arsenal. It's a case of whichever club breaks first is the player they will sign. It's great. Just let them do all of the work, and then maybe we could steal in and take something out of it at the end. It's a different situation. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There is no definites and there is no reports that this is going to happen, except the situation is there. Gyökeres will continuously keep being linked with Manchester United, and players like Sesko also will. As long as we're looking for a striker. People moaned about Ollie Watkins, moaned about him coming to Manchester United because he's too old. Then we're talking about Gyökeres. He's not proven because he's only done it in the Portuguese league. Benjamin Sesko, he's unproven. He's still too young. Only done it in the Bundesliga. Ekitike, exactly the same. Nkunku's not good enough. Calvet-Lewin, see you later. Who else are you going to buy? This is where I'm going with it. And people are coming back and saying, no. But not one person in the chat that I've seen while we're live right now, and it's not your fault because it is a difficult situation, has come back with a better option than any of them strikers that I've just mentioned. It's all, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, but who else are we going to go for? People will say Victor Osimhen. Look, we're not going to spend that much money on Victor Osimhen. It's not going to happen for Manchester United. His wages just don't fit what we want. I do believe that Manchester United could squeeze in a Gyökeres and a Sesko in terms of the wage structure into Manchester United. I don't think in terms of the breakdown from what the Athletic have reported on Victor Osimhen, what few people now, I think I heard Ben Jacobs talk about it as well, the Mail and the Telegraph also did a piece on it about how his structure of his actual deal is, how what he wants is not right for Manchester United. In terms of how he wants it doing and constructed, it just doesn't work for United. And that's what I've sort of run with all along. Mateta, some people have brought up. Yep, I don't make it wrong. Like, Mateta, this was laughed off when we first mentioned Philippe Mateta. But all of a sudden, his name still keeps popping up into it. I can't see United going for Mateta. He's going to be upwards of 50 million again. And I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think that's going to happen. Someone said Jamie Vardy. Who do you think Manchester United can realistically buy? Put your comments into the comment section now. Someone actually saying there Watkins is worth 60 million. That's an interesting one. I've not seen that before. Most United fans, particularly on this show, have shut that down. Thank you already for all of the likes in the chat, everybody. Please, if you haven't already, pop a like on the video. It helps us out massively. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, everybody. We're on the march to 90k. We're only a few hundred, well, not a few hundred, about 800 and odd away now from hitting that 90k mark, which is massive on our target for where we wanted to be before the start of the season. So let's keep it up, everybody. If you haven't already, thank you again. We will keep you up to date with everything that is going on in the transfer market with Manchester United, as we always do, and keep you fully updated on any news at all. The news about Ruben Amorim being a bit frustrated with everything, you can totally see that, can't you? You can see how he is not happy with the situation at the moment. It's not ideal. Is it? It's not, like we've said. And we do want to see a little bit more happen. I think now that players are coming back, I could see it getting a little bit busier. But then again, we're a week into July now, and I'm like, I was expecting July to take off. Still in the same position. So, yeah, we'll see what happens over the space of this week. But in terms of Manchester United players that we spoke about as well, there has been a piece, it looks like a little bit of a dig from Tyrell Malacia, saying that he didn't put a transfer request in at Manchester United. So he's had a little dig as well. He's part of the 5 players that weren't allowed to come back to Manchester United training. Ruben doesn't want him there, and he's made that quite clear. We discussed that the other day. But Malacia again, nobody taking Tyrell Malacia. 75 grand a week for a player like that. That's a lot of wages. It's not a lot when it comes to everybody else. And United should be able to make this move happen, because they're just going to sell him at cheap, like 5 million or something like that. Get Malacia out the door. Someone will probably pick him up for that. He will obviously have to take a pay cut. But look, is a player there that will do Manchester United, will get United a couple of £1 million and another wage off the books that we can put towards somebody else. But having another lash out at Manchester United and their approach to things, honestly, I don't care. I don't care how many players we upset at the moment. There is no room for any of this Manchester United squad to actually be upset with how they're being treated by the squad, with the wages that they're on and the season that they just had. There's no room at all. So if they are getting players coming out and lashing out and hitting out, like Rashford pretty much has done with not putting Man United back on his bio, and obviously Malacia with that cryptic social media post that he did yesterday as well. I think it was Malacia and Antony, we said yesterday, were the players that were willing to come back to training. Not so much of an issue with Malacia as the other players, I've got to be honest, but apparently he did have a problem with Ruben behind the scenes as well. So yeah, not the top of the hit list, but still, I think Ruben's made it very, very clear. He knows who he wants to work with, and the players that he wants to work with are going to be in training tomorrow. Super chat in from Joseph says, would you try and hijack the Elanga move? No, I wouldn't. Never go back. I like Elanga. I think he's done well, but I don't think United would go back. I don't think United would take themselves there, to be honest, embarrassing themselves in doing that. Look, he's a great playoff. He's good as a wide player. I don't think he fits what Ruben wants to play anyway, so no, I wouldn't do that, Joseph. Thanks for the super, mate. Ginge says, we're into week 7 for Mbeumo. No, it's 5, mate. Stop adding 2 weeks on, Ginge. Come on. Start of June, 4 weeks, first week. It's week 5, mate. There probably isn't that much time to sort a striker if we haven't even identified who it is yet. Minimum 6 weeks per deal, in or out. Not really, mate. I think you're clutching a bit there, Ginger, making it sound a lot worse than what it actually is. Look, I get what you're saying. This deal has dragged on a little bit, but I don't think we expected Brentford to be as stubborn as they was. But also, at the same time, we want this deal done. I know we do, but I think we're also going to see now Manchester United, when we move players on, start to bring in players. I don't think United are going to said this all along. I don't expect a striker to come in until August. I think United are just going to play the long game this summer, and if the right striker pops up on the occasion, and the opportunity is there, United will take it. I just don't think United are in any position at all right now to go out and bid for a striker. Getting Mbeumo done, that's going to take the majority of Manchester United's budget for the summer, as we know, and then it's the outs. Besiktas and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have give Jadon Sancho a get out if he doesn't want to go to Turin. apparently, according to reports this morning, Jadon Sancho is wanted again by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Besiktas in Turkey. But we know from the Fenerbahce approach, Jadon Sancho is probably not going to move over to Turkey. He wants to play in one of the top 5 leagues in Europe right now, and Turkey, I'm afraid, is not that. So again, it's good that we have got other options, and like Romano said, there are other clubs in for Jadon Sancho and have approached Jadon Sancho's representatives. But at Manchester United right now, full negotiations with Jadon Sancho. If you wasn't watching last night, the reports from Italy last night were that the personal terms between Juventus and Jadon Sancho are approximately a million euros out at the moment. It is closing in and the gap is getting there. He is going to take that pay cut. He does want to move to Juventus. There is confidence from all parties now that this deal will get done, and Jadon Sancho will be the first of the Nightmare 5 to leave Manchester United. Big moment when that happens for United, because it will give us funds. Obviously, we're expecting Elanga to be gone and completed, which will give United approximately 8 million as well on top of that. And again, Alvaro Fernandez, once Real Madrid do actually drop out of the Club World Cup or finish or win it, which is by the end of the week, by the end of next week, then they should start moving forward with their business. They're expected to go fully on in and take Alvaro Fernandez. The money that Real Madrid are actually going to make out of the Club World Cup at the moment is staggering. So definitely comfortable and confident that Alvaro will be gone. It looks very close to Elanga being over the line now with Newcastle and that being done, so more money coming in. So if you say Alvaro, you say Sancho, you say Elanga's money coming in, a bit more money there for Manchester United to move forward. Let's get on to the next one, which we did describe last night as Antony. Very close again, but only for Real Betis. And that at the moment is where that one is stuck. It's ridiculous what Betis are offering, and we said that last night. Go watch that show back for all the information on Antony towards the back end of the show last night about what Betis are offering. United are apparently willing just to give Betis and Antony the benefit of the doubt for now in terms of negotiating, giving him a chance for them to come through and actually give United something more than what they're offering now, because what they're offering now is awful and it's not worth it. But then United will eventually, like even Antony apparently has said, according to the reports, that he wants to give Betis the best opportunity to make the move before looking at other options. Antony has put in a transfer request and wants out. He is doing it like a proper professional, this guy, and credit to him for that, but he wants to go Betis, which is causing Man United a big problem. Rolls with the super chat says Antony, Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, Malacia, Vitek, Bainde and Rasmus all still realistic outs. Yep, they are indeed. Bainde definitely. Rasmus, we'll see what happens with Inter Milan from that story we brought you earlier on in the week, actually, about Inter Milan agreeing personal terms with Rasmus Højlund. And yeah, it does look like that is a potential one that can happen as well. Let's concentrate on what can happen and what is going to happen, which is Jadon Sancho. In terms of Marcus Rashford and the update on him, we talked last night that the Spanish media was saying that Barcelona are not interested in Marcus Rashford. Now, we can also say, like we did last night, that it can be run both ways. There are sources saying that Rashford and Barcelona representatives are going to talk with Manchester United over a potential move. They are willing to pay a heavy loan fee and loan him and cover the majority of his wages, is the report from one. This one's come from Santiana as well. This was the update from him regarding Marcus Rashford's situation. Barcelona and Manchester United are expected to open talks in the coming days to discuss a possible loan with buy option deal for Marcus Rashford. The player is willing to take significant efforts to make the move happen. How that works in terms of his wages, I don't know. Whether he is going to renegotiate his Man United contract so Barcelona have to pay a certain amount. Look, if you're doing a loan, you have to pay the wages of what's on that actual contract in play. So United's contract with Rashford, over 300 grand a week wages. Barca are not going to pay that. And I don't know how Marcus Rashford is going to take a pay cut off the loan. I don't know how that's going to happen. But let's see what Marcus Rashford, how far Marcus Rashford will go to make the move happen. with Barcelona. But that's from Santion. And there were a few more stories going about last night that Barcelona are about to open talks with United again. Now, Manchester United, like we said last night, want to and are standing their ground with the buying option only. They don't want to loan players out. So that's where Manchester United are currently at with it. But if Barcelona come in for a loan, I don't know if there's much United can do unless Bayern Munich, after what happened with Musiala last night, like we discussed, do come in and offer Manchester United more money. Apparently Marcus Rashford is open to that move and would go there, but his top priority is Barcelona. I just don't get why. Honestly, I never will understand it, but what goes on in Rashford's head is something I don't really want to go too deeply into, to be honest. But again, Barcelona or Bayern Munich, for someone who has pretty much flushed his career down the toilet, they're not bad options, are they? It depends on the loan offer from Barcelona for Marcus Rashford. What's that loan fee going to be? How much of the wages are you going to cover? And what is the option to buy? If they turn it into an obligation, I think United will loan Rashford in a heartbeat. Gone. Maybe Manchester United say, look, okay, give us 10 million loan fee and then obligation at 30 million next summer and still get you 40 million overall. Most of his wages covered with bonuses on top. I think United could negotiate that deal for a loan. I think they'd be happy with it. Personally, I think they're just going to say, look, we want a transfer fee. We want him sold. We want him off the books. And I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe that then pushes the Bayern Munich side of things over the Barcelona side of things. We will see, won't we? Daniel says, loan with obligation, sure. I mean, it would make sense. Man United just need to point blank tell Barca no loan. James, I think they will, mate. I think they will. I'm sure Rashford would take a pay cut for Barca. It's his dream club. Apparently his dream club was Man United, so I believe anything that comes out of that man's mouth or anything that comes out of his representatives. Rashford should have gone years ago. Bruno should have gone the other month. We always look gift horse in the mouth. Look, if Bruno didn't want to go, Bruno wasn't going to go. It was as simple as that. Rashford, again, given that contract, I think that's what ended it for him. One good season. He was worth 70 million in that season. I think United should have probably cashed in then if they were looking at it, but it all went wrong. It all went wrong. And I think, again, mismanagement behind the scenes has definitely left us with a bit of a nightmare situation when it comes to Rashford. I think you need a new word instead of loaning. I think you're talking to me, Adam. Loaning, yeah. Sorry, loaning, mate. No, loaning, mate. Rashford thinks he can fill his trophy cabinet without playing at Barca. No. Look, with the Rashford thing, all along we have known that Rashford wants to play in Tuchel's World Cup side. That's where we're at. That's what Marcus Rashford wants, and that, I think, is why Manchester United are confident they can sell him. That's the only thing. If this was another summer, I'd be fearing this would not be possible. But the fact that Rashford wants to play in the World Cup kind of gives us a chance, I think, in everything. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at and hoping that it can be done, that Rashford really is desperately wanting to get away from Manchester United. Now that United have made it clear that he's not going to play, even train with the club. He needs to get a club quickly. And I'm hoping that this now really accelerates all of the talks going forward and we do see the back end of him. That's my hope anyway. And that's the one thing I'm clinging on to in getting Rashford out of the door. That it's the World Cup year. And this is the last chance anybody's got to make a transfer to get into their international squads. So, yeah, I think that's where we're at with it. His Rashford dream club was Manchester United. Like me saying I want 1 million, but for fun, I'm saying it. I'm sort of lost with that one. The problem with Rashford is he gives too much power to his PR team, who seem to be living their life on Rashford's behalf. I agree with that one. And that's something that I've been going on about ever since that Belfast episode from Marcus Rashford. Who put that man up for that interview without even an apology to the Man United fans? Honestly, the people behind him are what will destroy his career. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Let's get a few more comments in quickly before we finish up. Barcelona have 2 players preferred over Rashford. That deal will never happen. We'll see, Paul. We'll see. I still think Bayern Munich is his best bet, personally. I really do think that that's where Manchester United should be pushing him. But again, it's up to Rashford, isn't it? He's the one who holds the power. Going over the top subjects again from the show. Calvet-Lewin linked with Manchester United. I've completely shut it down. Like, we cannot make that deal happen. Get your thoughts on that in the comment section when the live finishes, everybody. Absolutely disgraceful story. And if United ever made that happen, I would be disgusted with my football club. Bryan Mbeumo is now forcing the move as well to Manchester United, according to reports down in Brentford and their local papers. Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo is telling Brentford he doesn't want to go back to training and he wants this move sorted. Whether or not we hear anything today at all, a lot of people are actually saying that we could see something happen tomorrow for Bryan Mbeumo now, which is obviously past that week points that we said it was going to happen in the first week of July. I know, but still, Mbeumo obviously clearly wanting to go to Manchester United training and not Brentford. I think the story is probably more in line with trying to make something happen and sell and get clicks and sell pages, to be honest. I don't think Bryan Mbeumo's that type of character, but again, you'd be frustrated, won't you, as Bryan Mbeumo? 5 weeks since saying you want to go to Manchester United and nobody else, and you're going to end up going back to Brentford training. You can get a little frustrated with that one, I think. 100%. Look, that is our show all done, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are just about to hit the 500 live mark. Again, thank you, everybody, for your participation in the show. You will be diverted now across to Football Talk. We're going to continue the conversation about Partey, about Arsenal, Arteta, Sesko, Gyökeres, Madueke, all of that coming up on Football Talks in just a minute's time. Go over there now. Thank you again, everybody. Link in the live chat and in the description for all of your football kits. Check them out there. Cheap prices, discounted. Go and grab yourself a bargain there. Thank you, mods, again in the chat. Make sure you please do like the video on the way out, everybody. Hit that subscribe button as well to be kept up to date with everything going on at United. I got you covered. I'll see you over on Football Talk.